Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Wednesday, March 27, 2024. Blessed and honored to have CXO of WagerWire, Mr. Travis Geiger, up early to talk some shop, to talk about NCAA March Madness, to talk about Stanley Cup, to talk about WagerWire himself. Zach, what is going on behind the scenes as they come steamrolling through the betting lanes, which it's good to have some good news. And while we were backstage getting set up, I forgot to ask him about something, and I'm probably going to throw him a big curve because he's in LA, and I just need to know the temperature and what's going on. But first and foremost, shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, of course, with WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, shame on you. Run on over to Google Play or wherever you download the app. It's free. Start keeping track of your bets. Start keeping track of your ROI. Yes, we're here to entertain, but what we do here at ECI is basically educate. We try to keep you on the straight and narrow. We try to give you the most up-to-date, the sharpest lines, the sharpest numbers to keep you informed. Yeah, it's fun, but we're here to make you win, grin, and profit at the end of the day. That's what we're here to do. And with the help of WagerWire and their app, I don't want to say it's that easy, but it is pretty damn easy. So get on over there, download that app, and let's start having some fun. So if you're looking to make a little flash cash, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Travis, Zach, the rest of that community. It is huge. It's the best community on the platform, hands down. Come on board. Get in line. We don't want you in the caboose when this is all over. No pushing and shoving. We still got room. But let's get on board now. So without further ado, let's bring him in, the star of this show, the one and only Mr. Travis Geiger.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. It's a balmy 51 here right now at 8 a.m.
Well, I would like to say it's a cloudy and dreary, probably about 48 degrees. And
Okay.
Just an FYI to everyone, we just picked that day. The landscape company is here in full force. It's spring cleanup here. We're about to get 1 to 3 inches of rain tonight. So they're trying to get a whole ahead of the game. But first and foremost, Travis, how you been?
I've been great. It's good to be back. The tournament's in full swing. A lot of teams are gone to zero already. As we know, all but one is going to go to zero on the futures bets. So I figured we'd take a look at some charts.
And my curveball, my knuckleball, and I apologize here. I have to ask, being in California, what's the buzz? What are you hearing? And what is your personal feelings about the situation with Shohei Ohtani?
Well, P. Rose said if I had an interpreter in the 70s and 80s, I'd be off scot-free. And I think it's I think it's a little too early to tell if I'm going to play it safe, but in my heart of hearts, I think I think he was in on it, and I think baseball has an issue. I don't know if the man was placing bets for him. I don't know if he was just looking out for his friend. But by the time a problem gets into the millions of dollars range, you're either complicit or you don't know how to get out of it. And I don't know. It's a little bit interesting. And the Dodgers got him a new translator. I don't know. It just feels a little bit cheap to blame the translator. It seems a little bit like a scapegoat. I don't know the betting culture over there. I do know people love to bet on Japanese baseball overnight. So there's some sort of betting culture over there. Is this like Michael Vick with dog fighting? We're going to find out that's how Japanese baseball is with baseball, baseball betting in Japan. I don't know. He's the biggest star in the game. So it's a Pete Rose-esque scandal. I think it's going to affect history, past, present, and future, whatever happens.
I have a million thoughts, and we could talk for hours just about that, and I don't want to make that about this. I will save it for another show. Again, not just the face of baseball, probably top 3 in all of sports, maybe behind LeBron and Mahomes, if that at this point.
Well, we can also talk about how Rich Paul is in trouble with the NBA for maybe some insider trading on some betting, about how LeBron's on the board of DraftKings. So I think the entire industry has maybe moved a little bit too fast without really taking a step back. Now you see the NCAA issues. You see prop bets are being challenged in the state of Ohio and 2 other ones, whether it's too much pressure on kids to have prop bets on themselves. The entire thing is kind of going to come to a head over the course of 2024. And the leagues that embraced this, kind of this culture and these sponsorships without putting any real protections in place for their kids. Like, you go through, DMV to learn how to do a car. You go through sex ed in high school. You go through, don't drink and drive. The education for sports betting and student athletes is kind of all over the place. There's kind of some disparate systems. We've talked to some amazing people that are trying to stand up curriculums. Becky Harris, who used to run the Nevada Gaming Control Board, is one of them. She's got a program. There's some other programs, but there's no unified program throughout the NCAA to handle betting. And on top of that, I think that people, kids are coming in with financial literacy in that regard that's underserved because they don't want to talk about betting to kids before they turn 18. And then they turn 18 and they're supposed to get wised up real quick. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Something that Zach and I had talked about for a while, but it's still a little too precarious, is kind of like a stock market game, but for sports betting that you could play in high school, help you learn math, help you learn finance, help you use statistics, all that kind of good stuff in context. But we got to kind of, the conversation has to mature, I think, and it's going to have to mature fast if we're going to stop having these kinds of problems.
And the prop market, I'm glad you brought it up, because for me, there was no such thing as a prop market. I mean, I told the world my first wager was in 1975 as a 5th grader, Red Sox and Reds World Series. And there was no internet. There was no nothing. I worked for 2 services in the late 80s, early 90s. No internet, no cell phones. Our sources were newspapers. And we hoped that when we got the morning newspaper, it had West Coast scores so we could grade our games. There was no crawlers and, up to date. The only thing we had to get scores updated was the 900 numbers, and they did them every 10 minutes. So my point is, now they go to props. Why? Because I think every Tom, Dick, and Harry, hey, I don't have to even know who they're playing. I know who I like on my team. For the Celtics, if it's Tatum, if it's Jaylen Brown, is it Drew Holiday? Is it Al Horford? You can single out, well, I think he's going to score over 25 points. It's real easy. Now you see him, what happened in the NBA with Murray, and the 2 days, he taps out 3 minutes and 4 minutes in. It's very easy, wink, wink, to have a stomach ache or get, my eyes sore. And meanwhile, they have these daily meetings. And I just saw, LeBron played, all the big stars, Joker, the list is endless, KD, and yet Travis Geiger was the biggest prop player of the night. And that's obviously a red flag, Travis.
It's obviously a red flag.
So I think, again, as you said, we got a little too excited. These companies have their hands out. They want the monies, and then they'll deal with the repercussions, obviously, after the effects. So I think you're going to see a lot of regulations, a lot of mandating. There really should be no prop market for the kids anyways. I mean, there could be, we just had the scandal last year with the Alabama baseball team. The coach is calling up and say, hey, Travis Geiger, our ace, our stud, wink, wink's got a sore arm and elbow, and we're going to wheel him out there, or we're not going to wheel him out there. Needless to say, we're not going to win today.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and you wonder, the NIL is a gift to a lot of kids, but they see the kind of money that maybe like somebody like a Colorado football program is making, and maybe you're Colorado State and you're not pulling in nearly that type of money, but hey, you could take a dive or put up a performance and you could get some money on the side that could match, some of the real NIL. There's now a competition between kids to try to get the bag of cash, and not all of them are going to have the same scruples,
Exactly. So this is definitely stay tuned, to be determined later. It's a day-to-day. Who's next in the news? I mean, with all the what's going on in the world today, March Madness obviously in my lanes is number one. Baseball starts tomorrow. Unfortunately, during this week alone, we had a cargo ship take down a bridge in Baltimore. Pray to all the families and the cities that's affected there. In comes P. Diddy out of nowhere, who's just, I mean, it's like we haven't even got to the eclipse yet, Travis.
I got my eclipse glasses, Jeff. I bought up a bunch of them just in case they run out, and I'm going to resell them.
So let's bring up what we're here for, and
yeah.
the Madness. And listen, there is so many people watching live now. I can't thank you enough. Travis can't thank you enough. If you're new to this channel, please jump on over to YouTube, East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on your notifications as well. Never miss a live show with me, Travis, Zach, or whoever else we bring on. The Breakfast Bankroll, the Midday Market Report, and, of course, the Closing Bell. All proud sponsored right here by WagerWire. And as Karen Carpenter said, we've only just begun, so jump on board here.
Superstar Karen Carpenter. I love it.
So here we go, sir.
Yes. All right. So here we are. We're going to walk everyone through. Anyone who hasn't seen this, you guys can go yourself, wagerwire.com/graph, which is a really cool tool, something that we built internally for ourselves, that you can go do on the app, on the site. And then if you want, you can get the app, and we'll actually, have this in here. We'll also have the bet value calculator. Just real quick, let's take a little detour, Jeff, because we were in the New York Post yesterday, which was really fun. Our second time in the Post. We had talked with Martwan, which he says hi, by the way. He's just been moving into his new place. He wants to come on the show. So the New York Post ran this article about this dude who had an ultimatum or $70,000 cash out on this crazy parlay. Your viewers can go read it themselves. But what's really cool is that, they talk about Rovell's tweet. They talk about it's an 18 leg, $50 to win $202K, right? On DraftKings. He was a Baylor. Baylor had a money line Baylor as the last leg. And at the time he posted the bet, I think he had a UConn on the spread at the time and Baylor on the money line. And that was $70K. What's really cool, though, is the Post is using our bet value calculator to determine that. And everyone can go to wagerwire.com/calculator, wagerwire.com/calc. You can put in your bet. You can put in what you paid for it, what the payout is. You can put in the current odds if you're getting a cash out offer. You can also do this with parlays. You can build legs. So it's really cool that, at least in the Post eyes, and we hope everyone's, that we're being treated like the Kelly Blue Book for sports bets. If you want to know what the value of your sports bet is, go to our bet value calculator. And then while you're there, you can build some graphs, which is what we're talking about over here.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
You and Zach, the blood, the sweat, the tears. It's so nice to see the hard work pay off. You wake up in the morning and you see you're in the Post. Tell us, how's that feel?
It feels really good, actually, because, there's in learning the game, there's some stories that you pitch to the journalist, and there's sometimes that you get an organic pickup. And this one was truly organic. We didn't see it coming. Eric Richter, who was the author of that, wrote the Martwan story. He's a fan. He actually uses the tool himself. And that's what we like. We like people that are actually finding what we're doing helpful. We don't have to wedge our way in there. We haven't paid a single dollar in advertisement, Jeff. We support your show. We support some other creators that make really interesting content, but we don't do search engine optimization, keyword, whatever. We don't put ads on Instagram. It's purely organic. So it's been amazing to see kind of just people really take to this. And I encourage everyone to try it themselves. It's really fun. Just go to wagerwire.com/craft and make these, wagerwire.com. These are all free tools. We're adding more and more free tools all the time. And then the app itself is really cool. We have our leaderboard in there. You can get coins for doing different stuff. You can sync all your sports books, see all your bets, see what your friends are betting on, see your win-loss record. It's really awesome. You can sign up for sports books, get the bonuses, etc. And then soon, what you're going to have in there, which is the real revolution, is the trading marketplace. So for everyone that doesn't know what WagerWire really is, we're building the StubHub for sports bets, and we're not talking like side deals or whatever. We're going to directly integrate to the sports books and fantasy operators themselves. So if you are getting a cash out offer, you don't like it, you could post it for sale. Maybe cash out's not available, post it for sale. Maybe you don't want to sell all your bet, you can post a fraction of it for sale. You can direct sell it to your friend if they want to ride with you. It's really cool. Right now, RT Sports, Real-Time Fantasy Sports, which you can go to rtsports.com right now. It's the first ever fantasy pick'em marketplace that's live. So you can do your fantasy entry right away. You could post it for sale. You could wait till a couple legs hit, post it for sale. You could go look at what other people have posted for sale. You'll be able to see the progress bars as they get close to hitting the over, or if they're trying to stay under. It's really cool. I've actually make a lot of money doing that because I'm always within one or two legs of my crazy thing hitting. And when I'm in with, those one or two legs, they feel like they got a shot. And what people can do is they can come along and buy into my action, take a flyer on those last two legs for a much better deal than they would just kind of building that entry themselves. And keep in mind, this is also after the game has started. So a lot of these markets aren't even open. So it becomes like a live betting experience. It's an aftermarket experience. It's a social experience. We're starting in the fantasy space, but you're going to see some books start to turn on soon. And then the next thing that's going to happen immediately is that RT Sports Marketplace that you see on their site is going to come in the app. So you'll be able to buy and sell fantasy pick'ems right inside the WagerWire app.
It's amazing. You and I and Zach, we've been talking now. I want to say we're coming up. I think we were introduced about a year ago, and just the journey alone, where I started, trying to understand the thought process, because stuff like this blows me away, because the public is the ones that usually obviously are losing at the end. And then, we talk about the cash out versus the true odds and incomes, you guys, everything right in front of you, and say, no, not so fast here, guys. And just trying to be a part of something for the people. That's really what it's all about, is, everyone wants to get something, because as you said, 9 out of 10 go to zero. There's only one winner in the March Madness. So if you got a 5-legged parlay and you got 4 in, well, you want fair value, not quote unquote cash out value.
You want fair value. And it's like what you said, like we're trying to bring empowerment to the bettors. Like I also think this can be a tool for responsibility. If you kind of maybe laid too much, you can, trim your risk a little bit. You can, capture those profits. You stop playing against the book, like start playing against the public. Build a bet that that the public's going to be thirsty on, that you can believe in it or not. But bets don't have to win and entries don't have to win for you to make money. That's revelation number one. And then from our side of things, we don't make money on people's losses. You walk downtown Las Vegas, you look on either side of you up, down, that's all built on gambling losses, right? We're a company that doesn't care if you win or lose. In fact, we'd prefer if you win, because you're going to keep playing with us and using our tools. So when you win or lose, we don't take that money. We don't even profit share. Sometimes you bring the casino a customer, they do what's called a rev share split, which is a fancy way of saying we'll give you a portion of whatever this person loses in our casino. We don't do that. We don't like the blood money games. We take a small percentage of the transaction. which is still going to be smaller than the original VIG that you paid. And that's just going to be just like a stub hub. Every time it changes hands, it's just a service fee. Everything else is up to you. And yeah, we're just all about better empowerment.
Well, right in front of us here looks like the West bracket to me. So take it away, sir.
Yeah, so you can kind of see, I kind of zoomed into a month snapshot here. This is Selection Sunday was the 17th. So you can see in this graph, all of them kind of in the immediate aftermath, Vegas was underwhelmed. But then as they start to go on their win streaks, you could see them pop. Alabama never really got out of the basement. Another toggle that might be interesting for your viewers here that we just added, you can flip it to odds. So right now you're seeing the value of a $100 bet, backing it back a month. This is placed on the 27th of Feb. It's now the 27th of March, believe it or not. And this is what that $100 bet is worth today. So Alabama's gone way down in value. The rest of them, they're slowly creeping up. We can see bigger movement as we go, to the other regions. But if you flip it over to odds, Jeff, and now you can see kind of the traditional representation. So just interesting. It's just an interesting tool. And then
and I want to tell all the people here that might not understand one part of this is if you look at your bracket or your seedings, North Carolina got the number 1 seed. Arizona is the 2 seed, but they're in a collision course if they both take care of business to face off to see who goes to Glendale next week for the Final Four. So people that don't thoroughly understand, well, North Carolina is the 1 seed, therefore they're going to be favored over Arizona if they meet head-to-head, face-to-face. And I'm just telling everyone they're not. Arizona will be probably 1.5, maybe 2-point favorites over the number 1 seed, North Carolina.
Yeah, that's true, Jeff. And you can look at where they started. Actually, even though North Carolina had the 1 seed, well, you could look right here. This is leading up to Selection Sunday. So they're almost neck and neck. So even though the number on the bracket says that one's better than the other, the odds are telling a different story.
Correct.
And we should look at the odds. It's actually a tip that I got from you. A couple of different ones, which is interesting. Look for 6 wins in a row. Look at the neutral sites, and look at the odds, not the rankings. Now, Clemson, this is interesting for the ECSI people. You guys are always looking for this kind of buy low territory. This was going into the first round.
Yep.
I mean, you could be double your money on Clemson right now.
That they, you know what it does? It almost has a little FAU smell to it last year. Remember?
Ooh, that was a crazy chart. Yeah.
FAU and San Diego State.
So what was that? I can show people how to build this right now. FAU is doing a rematch. It's actually they're playing Zag or
no, San Diego State's playing
San Diego
UConn.
State's playing UConn. That's the rematch. So just to show real quick, so San Diego State, how easy this is for everybody. San Diego State, Connecticut, Huskies. We'll build it right here. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Beep, boop, boop, boop. So, yep, San Diego State heavy underdogs. I got a feeling that you don't think that they can probably grind this one out this year, huh?
I think UConn's stronger. They're playing at TD Garden, 45 minutes from where we are right now. I think the UConn's like 10.5 point favorites. Listen, anything can happen. It's only 40 minutes, but I don't think it's going to happen here. Not that Iowa State or Illinois couldn't take down UConn, and no disrespect, Craig Medeiros. I root for San Diego State. Think of you all the time. I don't think they have the horses, though, to take UConn down.
So if you had taken San Diego State over here, I mean, like now the graph is peaking. You would have been $40 in the money, but was there I'm jogging my memory. Did they not have a convincing win? Because they looked like they were primed to shoot up again, but now they've kind of retraced.
They retraced, I would assume, because where you got it up to the 143, like in I'm thinking of Eddie Murphy's movie there, sell, Mortimer, sell, because you got to UConn. They won the first 2 games. If I remember correctly, I think they were short favorites in both games as well. now the trip to TD Garden and to face the overall number 1 seed. So again, if you had $100 on them, and here's the key, you would have taken your 43 out, and then you would have had the free ride on them versus UConn right now.
Yeah, the free ride is huge. That's the other thing. Take your 100 out, right? And keep 43 action on it just in case it happens. You don't have to kick yourself.
Correct.
We can move on to this region now too. This is their region.
Yeah.
With UConn kind of pulling ahead. We can toggle again to the odds if you wanted to start there. I always think it's interesting, with the marketplace of WagerWire, what can I turn $100 into? Like, I don't know. Are you content taking $4, $8, $90? Like, how greedy do you want to be? There's a crazy way that you can make money on so many teams in the bracket, betting them to go all the way once you have an out. Otherwise, the math is pretty difficult, as you know. We can switch it to odds here. You guys are really good at playing the field. And I think a lot of ECSI people who already have that mentality baked in, this is just going to unlock unlimited, profit potential.
And as we talked all throughout the year, the key to success here was building that portfolio. I mean, we started November 1st when the NCAA basketball started this year. We had a UConn and Purdue early this year. We added Kentucky and Auburn that didn't get out of the first game. We did tell all the people watching and listening, if you got them to cut the nets down, see if your book or shop around the book that has them to get to the Final Four at least. So that kind of offsets if you don't cut those nets down, because only one team is cutting the nets down on that Monday.
Only one team. Many enter, only one leaves. Here's NC State is just absolutely mooning in value. What do you think the chances that they make a run are?
Well, here's the funny thing about NC State. They started the ACC tournament, and they shocked the world. They won 5 straight to get into the dance. And here they are. They won the first 2 games already, and they're sitting. Houston is the big favorite there. You got Marquette, you got Duke, and you got NC State. Again, Houston's to lose. For me, Marquette's the dark horse. They got Kolick back. I like Shaka Smart. Big East so far undefeated. Only 3 teams in the dance, but Creighton, Marquette, and UConn all have made it to the Sweet 16. Houston will be a tough out, but my sleeper in this is Marquette.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that they got a great squad. And who does Marquette play? They play.
I wanted to give you the fresh odds as we speak for everyone here.
They got to hit NC State. Oh, I had that big boy on NC State. I forget his name. He's something to be reckoned with.
Right now, live, Circa, Derek, and Jeffrey Benson. We all say hello here.
Hello.
Marquette is 6.5-point favorites against NC State.
Really?
Yes. And
generous.
Houston is 4-point favorites over Duke. So can you imagine this? If the ACC upset, in other words, if Duke upset Houston and NC State upset Marquette, you'd have an all ACC Elite 8 winner goes to the Final Four. Really? Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
So this is a big value there. I mean, obviously NC State and Duke, big dogs there.
Big dogs. Interesting. I believe in both of those teams, so we'll see. And look at these guys, meteoric rise. This is a that is FAU-esque. All right, so we're marching on here now to this bracket, which I kind of think is the heaviest hitting. This region is one of the heavy hitting regions. Gonzaga, I think, because they kind of started underloved, they're popping pretty hard. But Creighton, Tennessee, those are real teams. Purdue, TBD. My cousin who went to Purdue, who said that they would lose in the first round last year, swears that they're going to win this year. So he called the low. I don't know if he's going to call the top. I don't think that they have ice water veins. Just look at their color scheme. They don't scream clutch. So
I did say all year, I did like that angle where a handful of years ago, Virginia, the number 1 seed, lost to a 16 the first time that had ever happened. The following year, they cut the nets down. So again, one of the reasons why we jumped into Purdue early was the same angle there. And again, they're in a tough bracket. I don't think the Zags are the Zags of old. I think Purdue will grind a win out there. And the winner of Creighton, Tennessee, right now, Tennessee's -2.5. The winner of that will be probably 3-point underdogs to Purdue if they get by. And that will be one hell of a game. But definitely all 4 teams are worthy of going to the Final Four.
All 4 teams are worthy of going to the Final Four. The scale's a little bit off because of the crazy journey of Gonzaga, but Purdue is still probably, from when you guys grabbed it, you're probably still, close to well. I mean, I don't know. When did you grab it over here?
We got it. We got it early this year. We got them right around plus 850.
Oh, that's great. So you guys are already in the money. See if they can make a run. Gonzaga was a crazy snipe. I always look out for Gonzaga just because they had UCLA's number the entire time that we had a chance. They always destroyed our dream with Timmy and that whole group of people. So, yeah. But this is an interesting bracket. I think Zach has Tennessee going all the way, believe it or not. I did put Creighton in the Final Four. So this is the one to watch. Very interesting.
Speaking of your UCLA team, not digress for a quick second. Have you been following the women's?
No, but I'm going to start tuning in because I know that they're doing pretty good, huh?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they got LSU coming up now, so that's probably must-watch TV for you.
Oh, they play LSU on Saturday.
Yeah, that's must-watch TV.
They beat Creighton, and then they beat Cal Baptist. So they had a couple. I know that there's actually a lot of people walking around in UCLA gear supporting our women out here, and I know they got a good squad. They got to hold it down for the men. We have some of the best women's sports in America. I think we're title town here. I think maybe tied with Stanford right now for most NCAA, or maybe we pulled ahead championships ever. A lot of those are our women's sports. So we love our girls, and let's see if they can take out LSU.
I think they're 2.5-point underdogs. I saw this morning. And one quick side note too is Cronin's name being floated around there for the Louisville job?
I hope we can keep Cronin. I actually like him. What do you think? I mean, I haven't heard anything about that, but what do you think?
You need to keep him. You definitely need to.
I know. He's the guy. It's not him. It's not him that's the problem. I think he's an excellent coach.
I agree with you. So, all right, that was our UCLA Minute, sponsored to you by EMS, will you?
Yeah, sponsored by WagerWire, which, believe it or not, we are a California-based company, which is interesting. We believe in the state of California. This is specifically for the Attorney General, if he's listening. We believe in the state of California as a hub for technology and innovation, and would like it to keep its mantle despite its $78 billion deficit in this fiscal window alone. We think that sports betting and fantasy sports could be a meaningful part of the budget and help the state recoup its deficit. We think that there's innovative companies like ourselves that have a lot to offer the state. And if the Attorney General continues to entertain State Congressman Wilkes' petition that's even fantasy sports should be illegal in the state of California, you're going to see this economy dry up. You're going to see innovation leave, and companies like WagerWire won't be able to operate. So, Mr. Attorney General, we sent you a letter, which we published on LinkedIn and also got some press pickup. Do not stifle innovation. This is something you can't run away from. You wouldn't run away from marijuana. Why are you running away from sports betting? All right, that's the end of my PSA.
I think we got one more region, or
we got this one. We're going to NHL. So we got out of the NCAA for a second into the Stanley Cup race.
Okay, so what we decided to do is we're going to show you the 4 top teams in the East. $100 to win the cup. And then what we're going to do to close out is we're going to actually build the West bracket so everyone can see how to build. So go ahead, Travis.
So, my team's the Blue Jackets, so I haven't really been paying too much attention. this year, but I think the Stanley Cup race is super interesting. I know that there's a dude who could win $1 million on a parlay he synced to WagerWire if the Canucks won. I don't know what you think about the Canucks, but the other thing that we have here is we have the East and West Conference. If you want to look at the conference race too. So just to refresh everybody, we have NCAA, NBA, and NHL, NFL. We have the conferences in these ones here. We're just doing the tournament over here. We're adding baseball very shortly, opening day tomorrow. So to win the Eastern Conference versus to win the Stanley Cup, which do you like to prefer to bet, Jeff? I mean, do you bet both? Do you?
I do. I preach that, like in the March Madness that we talked about, have a Final Four and obviously a championship. I am a firm believer. Listen, if you do the Stanley Cup, make sure you do the Eastern Conference. And if you're doing the Stanley Cup out West, make sure you do the Western, because only one team can hoist the cup. And it would suck that you only had the cup, but you didn't get any money back for them getting to the cup. So I'm a firm believer. If you had one unit on, let's just say we have the Dallas Stars out West, and I think we got them at around 11, 12 to 1, but we have them to win the West as well. And we have Carolina started the season to win the East, as long as also as to win in the cup. So always try to hedge yourself. It doesn't have to be a full unit. You could have a half a unit on them to win the East and a half to win the cup, or vice versa.
Very interesting. I love your strategies here. Let's build the West ourselves.
So we got to go defending champs, Vegas.
Also, you guys can toggle what you want your starting wager to be. I know not everyone's unit is 100. Sometimes it's 10 or 1,000 or whatever.
We'll go Edmonton. We'll go the Avs. And for purposes, let's put in your Canucks here.
I mean, the Canucks are way in the money. It doesn't mean that they're going to win, though, because if you toggle to odds. So the interesting thing is, yeah, they're up from 100 to 387, but how far are they from really actualizing it? You can see in the odds. They're still, they're sitting back. I mean, they're not far behind the Knights, honestly, Jeff. They're making a run.
And do me a favor, add Dallas to see. I think Dallas will fit in between all of them. See if I'm correct here. Yeah, they're right in between.
Exactly. Snuggles right in there. So interesting. When do the playoffs start? They start.
I think there's about 9 games left. So this is like the fun time of year as we got the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 this weekend, and then the Final 4 next weekend. And then you'll have the championship Monday. First pitch, MLB starts tomorrow. Then before you know it, it's the NHL and NBA playoffs in between Augusta and the Masters. And, of course, the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby.
Yes, sir. Do you want to look at – I got a little bit of time to look at NBA if you wanted to round it out just to show people.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So somebody had asked me about the Clippers. They got a crazy Clippers bet that they placed it a long time ago, but they wanted to get out of it. Is there any chance at all for the Clippers?
On paper, yes. Physically, mentally, probably not. But it's the wild west this year. I think Denver is really rounded into form. I think they had a little post hangover. I think they'll be the last man standing out there. But the Clippers, Dallas is playing better. OKC, Minnesota, the Pelicans. The list is endless. Look at LeBron-less Lakers last night. They go in to Milwaukee and win in double overtime. So it's the wild, wild west. There again, you plus 138. The Clippers, I think, are the second favorites, to be honest with you. And I think it's the biggest liability out west.
Interesting. Yeah, we have people hit us up all the time with tickets. Some we can help them with, some we can't. Once we have the technology integration, we'll be able to help everybody. But this guy had a really interesting Clippers ticket. And I said, I'm going to ask Jeff what he thinks of the Clippers. He says, they're not playing good ball right now, so he wants to kind of take some risk off the table, which is exactly what we're here for. But until the casinos open their doors, we're kind of waiting in the wings. We'll just keep building free technology, stuff like this for people. But you're going to see some big announcements coming down soon. Some of the ones that that we can't talk about publicly yet. But this is definitely a movement that's happening in real time here.
Check out the East. There should be a big, big gap in the East. Obviously Boston, then Bucks. You can go Philly, Miami. Yeah, we haven't had breaking news on one of our shows lately, so we might have to sound the bell soon.
Yes, we will.
And now Philly's way down because of Embiid, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's such a huge gap. Let me see who we could add there to make this a little interesting. Cavaliers, maybe Cleveland.
Oh. We just we gave it too much to think about, Jeff. Here we go, Cleveland.
Yeah, the Celtics are the overwhelming favorite.
What happened to the Sixers? They just
Embiid's been out.
Achilles.
Yeah, Embiid, that was a huge one for them.
Yeah, that killed him.
But the Cavs are the sneaky one, Donovan Mitchell and
company. I mean, they're up though. They're slightly up since that injury has been taken into account. So if you place that $100 bet after Embiid's injury, you're still looking like better than when you place it. So I don't know. That could have been, if you look at the season chart, if you think that they could still make a run at the Eastern Conference, or I don't think he's going to be able to heal in time, but that was a real buy low spot.
Yeah.
50% retrace. And if you bought then, you're up $5. But if you were holding it before, so you identify different opportunities throughout the season to kind of dabble or take positions, which I think is interesting. And one of the things this chart does is really illustrate that. And what we want to do in the future too, as we build this chart, as you can look back and you can see what happened on this day, what was the game, what was the box score, what was even the live odds. I want to be able to zoom in into a day, into the chart, into the pregame, into the third quarter, and see the candles, just like you would a financial chart. So we're going to take this all the way from A to Z. And this is just the first version, but everyone should start using it now. It's great. And the app is available right up here. Like I said, we also got the calculator, take you guys on a little tour. Our community section is great. We got shows on Twitter today. We got podcasts all the time, articles, videos. We got our charity partners. If you're into the merch, it's pretty good merch on there. Join our mailing list, etc. So, yeah.
Lastly, on the NBA, if you guys want to get cute and creative to all the listeners here, let's say you're in love with the Celtics and you don't want to lay the chalk in the Eastern Conference. They'll be 2-1 favorites against Denver. They'll have the home court advantage most likely. This is what we did in the last two Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls ago, we didn't have exposure to the Eagles and to the Chiefs. So what did we do before the tournament started is we grabbed Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes MVP. And we got Jalen at 6-1, Patrick Mahomes at 4-1. By the time the game started, they were both even money. Well, long story short, Mahomes wins and we had a 4-1 ticket. Before the tournament started this year, we had some Baltimore exposure. We said the winner of the Buffalo Kansas City game had a good opportunity to beat the Ravens. So we had Josh Allen MVPs and Patrick Mahomes 11-1 MVP to win the Super Bowl MVP, that is.
So where I'm going on this little sermon is, if you like the Celtics, shop around. See if your book has NBA MVP, and go jump in and get Jason Tatum and even Jaylen Brown. Those would be the two if the Celtics won the NBA championship. And obviously out west, go grab your Joker now MVP, which I think you can get around 2.5 to 1 or something. And Murray was only going to be the second favorite, and he'll be huge. But again, you got to get creative. That's what we're here for, is to get the creative juices flowing and then integrate it with your work, Travis, and everything that your team has done.
Yeah, Jeff. I mean, we need people like you and all the East Coast sports investors to come on and then use what we built. And we're excited to build it for you guys. And always open to feedback. If the graph's giving you trouble, is something you want to see, something we could, work on building out for you guys. Founders@wagerwire.com. Our lines are always open. Follow us on X. We're a good time. Shows every day. Great community. Yeah. And I'll be with Jeff throughout the tournament and always.
Well, again, standing room only here today. Thank you to, obviously, Travis. Your community is second to none. We do shows daily, and obviously your community is just growing. And not so much how they grow, but they're so interactive in Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today. And that's what I love about it. So if you're new to this channel, again, run on over to YouTube, East Coast Sports Investors, subscribe. It's free. Turn on the notifications. Never miss a show with me, Travis, Zach, and the rest of his team. Later on today, I think we're going to sneak in a baseball show with Scott Webb and the Webby Odds. We call ourselves the Odds Couple. And then at 5 p.m. tonight, Brady Kannon will be back for the PGA as we get closer to Augusta. So we can't wait. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Travis Geiger, WagerWire CXO, and of course, good morning, good afternoon to the good doctor himself, Mr. Zach Doctor, WagerWire CEO. We will see everyone soon. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.